Hey guys, it's Double D Stampin. This is Danny. Sorry about the whole Facebook Live thing this morning. That just did not work out very well for me. I've had my husband since then build me a stand for my camera here, and hopefully we won't have that if I touch the table. Hopefully we don't have any shaking. Oh, see, good. No shaking. Okay. So, I figured I better delete that video. It was awful. I couldn't stand it. So, here we are. We're going to start over. I'm not doing the Facebook Live thing. I'm not a techie person. So, we are going to just do the video. I'm going to show you how to put the box together, give you the dimensions. Now that our volume is working and we're not getting all this static and chinging and whatever the noises were that were going on. So let's get into this. We are going to make this cute little box using the Merry Moose bundle, which is the stamp set and the punch. Which I forgot the stamp, so I had to just grab it. Okay, so this is the box that we're going to make today. I showed you this one, the picture on the Facebook page. I showed you the picture of this little box. It is dimension wise, it's 3.5 by I think 2.5 by 1. So you can, just to give you a couple of ideas of what you can put inside of this little box, your little Bath and Body Works antibacterial, because who doesn't need antibacterial hand gel right now? The old style of Bath and Body Works will fit in there. You can do a couple of the Ghirardelli chocolate squares. I think you might actually be able to fit 3 in there. Yep, 3. You can do a Reese's Buttercup with a Ghirardelli square, especially if you want to give these out for, say, Halloween, or little goodies for teachers, or if you have a get-together and you have little gift, ideas that you need. These are perfect for that. You can also fit a gift card in there. There's a Starbucks gift card that slides in there, and then you can put a couple of your, salted sea salt caramels down in there with your Starbucks gift card. You can either tuck this inside like that, or you can put it on the outside of your, there's this little gnat thing flying around. Or you can put it back behind your little circle of your moose. Here's the one that I made earlier in our Facebook Live. I put, instead of having the flap be free, I put a piece of ribbon around it to tie it closed and kept it on the outside. If you would like to have the rounded edges of your box, you will need to go purchase a corner punch. Stampin' Up! Does not sell those any longer. So I just kind of think it finishes off the look quite well of these boxes. Also, I made this one. This is our cinnamon cider, a new color. And then used a piece of vellum also with the cinnamon cider to make these little sprigs with our sunflower, I think it's called Celebrate Sunflowers kit, along with the, what's the name of this paper? The paper is from the Flowers for Every Season. and I had to cut it because since our paper that we use to go around this is all one strip, I had to cut it and do a 6-piece strip here, and the dimension this way is 2 3/4. And then for this little part right here, it is 1 3/4 by 2 3/4. So instead of having it be a continuous strip around like we did with our trees, because it's a 12 by 12 sheet of paper, I can cut it off that way. I also did it with the trimming the town, which I went over this whole little suite. This one, since my house is completely tacked down, I decided to put the inside of the box like that. I dimensioned that little house like I showed you, and the tree. So kind of cute little ideas. So let's get into this box. I forgot to grab myself the soft suede. So let me grab that. Okay. So you're going to need a scrap of soft suede or a light colorish brown for your actual mousse for here. And then a dark espresso, it's called early espresso, for your circle or scallop, however you choose to do it. I did a scallop on this box, the scallop circle, and this one that I did today, I just did the circle. You're going to need your DSP or designer series paper. You can choose what you want. I just will let you know that make sure your pattern goes, you know, from up, you know, that it runs lengthwise, horizontal, I guess you would say it correctly. And then you're going to want some old olive cardstock. So let's get into the dimensions of this box. So if you look at your cardstock, one is going to be longer than the other. So this way, when you're looking at it, this is considered portrait. This is considered landscape, just like when you're taking photos. Landscape is the long, up and down is your portrait. So we are going to cut this at 5.5 going portrait style. So make sure your length is going this way, so you know that you have enough space to cut this at 7 3/4 when we get there. So this is going to be cut at 5.5, which this might actually be right at, oh, see, this is already at 5.5. Okay, so 5.5 by 7 3/4. Seven 3/4. These little pieces are great to keep in case you want to make a little saying strip. You can put that in there and then voila, cut it down to size, and then you have a little saying sentiment strip. Okay, with our trimmer, it's really kind of neat. It has a cutting blade and your trimming and your score blade already on it. So with that, I don't have to get out a Score Buddy. I don't have to get out another tool. It's just right here for me. So looking at this portrait style, we are going to score at 1 inch. And then we're going to flip our paper and we're going to score at 1 inch. Okay, now we are going to flip our paper landscape style, and we are going to score at 2.5, 3.5, 6, and 7. Okay, there we go. There's all of our score lines that we need. So now we're going to varnish our score lines on that. But first, since we already have our cutter out, let's go ahead and get into this and cut it. So for this, we are going to cut this paper at 2 3/4. Make sure our design is going long ways facing us, and we are going to cut this at 2 3/4. By 7 3/4. Okay, so there's that. Now we have all of our cutting done. We can put our scores, our score and cut tool away. Okay, now we want to varnish all of our score marks. So you want to get something that is sharp. You can even use your paper snips at this point and just run that along there. Anything that is able to just run across and varnish these to make these stay down. Okay, so now we have our box cut, our box scored. We have our big wide pieces, and then a small 1 inch, and then another wide, I think these were 3.5 inches. No, 2.5 inch pieces with 1 inch, then 2.5. And then right here on these two little pieces at the end, since this is going to be our fold at the, I'll find one that doesn't have this little piece right here, we are going to, so this would be this right here. So we need to cut off these two pieces right here. So since our score lines are already made for us, it's very simple to just follow the score lines and cut that right off of there. It's one great thing about these scissors of ours is they cut to the very tip of the scissor. There's no having to keep going at it. Wherever you put that tip is where it's going to end. Now on the fold pieces in the center of your 2.5s, this 1 inch piece here, you're not going to cut this tab off, but you're going to cut it so it folds in so your sides will fold. Okay, so follow your score lines up to the middle. Don't cut any further because that you want to use for your box, the insides of your box. Then you're going to come in here and you're going to wedge these little pieces on the corner. Kind of like if you've ever put in a window or a door and they have to be shimmed. That's kind of what you're doing, is cutting out the shim of your window or your door. And it just needs to be like a little rectangle piece here, but you're doing it on the pieces that are in between. So now you can see, let me get my scraps out of here. Now you can see that when this shuts, it's going to shut all the way and not get caught up on a side over here. Okay? So now you can go ahead, before you adhere your paper or anything to it, you can take your corner punch, and since you know that these are your sides, or not your sides, but your lid, you can go ahead and put those like that. Whoops, that one didn't work. I don't think I had it all the way in there. So those are rounded now. Okay, now when you go to do this box, you think, okay, well here's the top, so I'm going to put this like this. Okay, if you have a pattern paper that comes lengthwise and you want to be able to have that as the front of your box, you need to make sure that you put your pattern at this side. So then when you go to fold your box, all your trees are facing down with your box like this. See how the trees are all running around? Yes, the back of your box is going to be upside down, but who's going to stare at the back of your box? So when this folds, you're going to see this come over and it looks better. And then your pattern is all the right way. Okay, so now you're going to, and this is the best glue ever, this Tombow mono liquid glue. Okay, you line this right up on there. The best thing about this glue is because it's liquid, you have some time to play around to get everything even and move, so you make sure your margins are right on the side. So say if it's not, you can still move it a little bit well before that liquid glue dries. Okay, then just take your bone folder, or your boner for what I call it. I know people think I'm cuckoo, but it's actually called a bone folder. I just call it a boner. Speaking of which, the reason why we came up with the name Double D's Stamping is, I know a lot of you might be thinking certain things because of who I am if you know me, but it's actually because me and my mom have decided to travel down this Stampin' Up! Journey together, and since my name being Danny and her name being Deborah, we're the Double D's. So that lets you know that. The best place to buy this Tombow glue, I know I'm very squirrel, but is to buy it through us, through Stampin' Up. The other day, my other bottle went completely kaput. I had used it all because it is my go-to glue. So I went on Stampin' Up! And I went to order another bottle of it. It's all on back order. Ah! Who knew the glue would be on back order? It was. So my mom ran into town. Michael's has this thing where you have to like pick up at the curbside or something like that. So she went to the next town. Those of you who live here in Tucson, she drove to Green Valley to the Joann's because she had something else to do down there. And she went to the Joann's, and I think we have it through Stampin' Up! For $4.99 a bottle. Well, Joann's had it, it was either $5.50 or $6.99 or $5.99. I don't know what it was. It was substantially more than what we sell it for through Stampin' Up! But nonetheless, it's on back order. I had to have it. So we had to get it through them, and I now know that I will make sure I stock up on it when we get it back in stock and have it for always, because like I said, it's my go-to. So now we're taking these sides and we're putting glue all over the front of it. Now you can choose to use the liquid glue, or there's also a thing called tear tape, and it comes on a roll. That looks like this, and when you pull it off, you simply pull it and tear. That's why it's called tear tape. So let me show you. I'll use a piece of this, as much as I despise this stuff because it is extremely sticky, but that's why people use it. So you would put a little strip there. Put a little strip here. And then I will show you why I do not care for this stuff. Now here I have to take off this white stuff to make the sticky. So in other words, it's time consuming, and I'm not patient enough for that. Okay, now when I go to adhere it to my side, I only get one time, one and done. I don't get to line it up again. If I don't get it the first time, it ain't going back, because I will wind up tearing my paper apart if I try to pull this back off or try to align it. It's stuck. And that's why with the box like this, some people want that stability and to make sure this box is not going to move. Myself, I don't want to mess up and have to throw the whole thing away and start over because it's just me. So now I'm doing my sides. Okay, I will take my bone folder and kind of go inside and push up against the outside here. So I make sure I have a nice crease there. Okay, let's put some glue over here. Push this up against here. Okay, there we go. Perfect, it slides right in. We know that all of our measurements worked. Now we have our little circle here, but the way I got that circle is I used our layering circles dies. These come in the scallop, which is what I used for that, or they come in circles. Or when you want to layer these, that's why they're called layering, one will fit inside of the other, so you can have two different circles on top of each other. So if you want to put a dark color behind just a white and then put your sentiment stamp on there, you can do so. Okay, so I already went ahead and made one of these, but you are going to need the scrap of early espresso for that. Or if you have a circle punch, that works as well. Okay, and the next thing we need is our soft suede, which is what we're going to stamp our mousse on. Using early espresso. And let me show you these bad boys right here. These are our stamp blocks. So I think, and this thing right here is wonderful. So if you don't have with your clear photopolymer stamps, you need to have a foam pad under them when you go to stamp, so you make sure it impressions on the perfect lines when you go to do it. Okay, so let me grab out one of our blocks. This is the D block. I will show you the difference between these blocks and other blocks, because boy are these things wonderful, especially for, like, you know, I have the beginnings of, I'm sure I'll have arthritis as I age, but it's starting to come on. I can feel it on my fingers, but these are the blocks that will come if you order the Paper Pumpkin subscription. In your first box, you will get one of these acrylic blocks, which is great because if you don't have one, you will get one. I have one that's already out of the package. This is to just show you how it comes. So if I was to put my mousse stamp on this one, I'm more than likely going to go in here and I'm going to get ink all over my fingers, because that's me, because that's just how I roll. I want to hang on to it. I want to make sure I get a good, you know, adhere of ink on there, because I want to make sure my image comes out pristine the first time, so I don't have to keep stamping it. So with this, I'm not going to, this almost secures the fact that my fingers are not going to get in that ink, because it is so thick that I don't have to worry about it. Okay, then I'm going to come in. After I look at my stamp, I can see that it is completely covered, and I've even gotten some on my block, which is no worries. I have a cleaner. you're going to come in and stamp this on your soft suede. Look at that image. Beautiful. Done with that. Our Stampin' Up! Punches are pretty cool. So when if you go to a swap or you go to a scrapbooking / card making class and you have a punch and you want to bring your own, these things store like this. When you're ready to use it, you push it open and it opens the thing up. So now you can punch. But that way they don't get things jammed up in there and get dirty and get dust and crap inside of them. So now I'm going to line this up. That's the good thing about the back sides of these. You can see where your stamped image is, so you make sure you're going to stamp this right where you need it. So you're not guessing or trying to go off the front picture. Think, there it is. Okay, and then when I go to store this on my shelf, I close it and it's ready to be put away. So there's my moose. He's gonna go on there. So now I'm gonna grab some dimensionals and probably some of my many dimensionals for this. So since the big dimensionals are substantially bigger, I can put one there and maybe one on his butt, and then come in with the small ones. This is called the Take-A-Pick tool. It is a wonderful little nifty thing. You have this side, so say you need to pick up a little embellishment or something, it's sticky on this side that you can pick things up and stick them onto your projects. They'll stick in the glue. And for these little doodads here, these dimensionals, so I can't put the dimensionals on his feet or legs because they're just a little too thin, and I'm not going to sit here and cut those things out. And I haven't on the other two boxes that I've made, and I've not really had a problem with those things going anywhere. So now I'm going to line this guy up. On my circle. And I can choose to pop this circle up. Say I want this to close back behind my circle, which I kind of like that look, because then you're getting the whole look of the image if I put this behind here. But that being said, if I go to pop this, I need to know that this has to be able to come down this far behind him. So I need to make sure I don't put a dimensional anywhere up in this whole back top. That if I put a dimensional, I need to look on this side and look on this side and know that I cannot put one above his head or his back. So I put 2 across and then 1 down below. And you would do the same thing if you're going to do ribbon. But if you do the ribbon and this is going to stay down, you can actually put a dimensional here. Or no, you can't, because you still don't want that to adhere the lid down. So if you put your ribbon wants to stick to this bottom one, so it'll stay stuck. But I'm not doing ribbon again. I don't do well at tying bows. So I'm watching my margins on both sides. I'm holding my finger at the bottom so I make sure I don't pull my circle lower than this so my box can stand up, and same with it going above up here. So now when I stick that down, it's good. I make sure I push those glue dots down, and now when I stick that behind there, I know it's going to stay. And if it doesn't stay, I might need to come in with my boner and varnish it down a little bit tighter. There you go. And it's, voila, it's there. So you have your little box. Or you can go ahead and just put it inside. So I'm going to start a video series, and hopefully I can get this figured out where I can start putting my hands up in here. I'm so used to doing everything right in front of my face that I need to start getting it down. I'm going to start a video series every Monday. I will go ahead and make the video, and then I will post it for you. No more Facebook Lives. I'm not good enough with that. So I'll post it. But the kicker of that is whatever project I make for that day, you will have until the following Monday to share the video. The more you share, the more times you will be entered. Well, not necessarily the more times you share, but every person who shares my video will be entered into a drawing for the project that is made from the previous week. So say, this coming up Monday, we are going to make a card. I've already designed it, so I will go ahead and bring all the stuff, and I will make it in front of you and make it for you, and then you can see how it's done. And then the following Monday, so you guys will have that week to make sure you share and have other people share it, and everybody who does the share will then be entered into a drawing. So then that following Monday, we will do either a random drawing.org or something like that, or we will just take a pot. I will put everybody's names on it, throw it into the pot, and then we will pull it out. And then if I don't have your address, I will get a hold of you and ask you for your address, and then we will send you the project that was made from the following week. And it will not have any words in it. It will be yours to send or use. Like, for instance, if it was this box, you would get the box with nothing in it. It would just be yours. You will be able to fill it and then give it to who you want to give it to. Same with the cards. The cards will have the sentiments on it, but you will be able to put your own wording in it and then mail it off. It will come with a envelope, and it will be able to be sent to whoever you wish to give it to. So that is an incentive for sharing videos. I'm going to show you how to quickly clean these stamps, and I will let you know that when you first get your stamps, it's best, there's kind of a film on these, that it's best to clean it. Just run it over. This is called your Stampin' Scrub. Just quickly run it over the side that you've sprayed, and then this is your drawing side, or however you choose to do it. Doesn't really matter. Okay, and then I'm ready to put my stamp back in the case where it goes. Okay, or if you don't want the scrubber and then have to worry about buying the spray, then we also have a chamois. The chamois is, as you can see, it's kind of wet here. Let me take this mousse back out here so I can show you. The chamois, it is, you get it wet and you leave it just like a regular chamois. You get it wet, and I keep it in these. You can order these clear cases. You get 4 of these clear cases for, I think it's $8. So I just keep a couple of them on hand for other things. You would take your stamp, you would come in here and clean it off, and then you're ready to put them away. The reason why my stamp, as you can see, is a little on the pink side is because any browns that you use that have a red tone to them, like the early espresso, it has a red tone, it will taint your stamps. Just like any reds that you use, if you use real red, cherry cobbler, any of those, even our magenta madness, they will change the colors of your stamps. It doesn't hurt the stamp at all. You can continue using it. It does affect the color of the stamp, but it does not affect the usage of the stamp. So that's kind of something good to know, because some people freak out. They're like, oh my God, my stamp's red. What's going to happen? Well, the only thing that happens is it has a red tint, but it's still very much usable. It's just the ink. I was going to, when I made the first box, I actually thought, oh my gosh, you know, I always use this moose, but I've never used the little raccoon on the log. So I cut the white circle out, thinking that I was going to use a brown circle as a back, you know, splash to this little guy, or use the, see how I was saying that these things sit on top of the scallop, and it would just gives you enough that you can see the brown behind it. But then I started looking at this guy and I was like, ugh, you know, I added the snow to it, and then I feel like I ruined it. But the way I got the tree behind that is I simply took a piece of copy paper or printer paper, stamped him on just a thin piece of paper, and then just cut out the pieces that I don't want the tree to hit, then sat him on there, and then took my small tree and stamped down. That's why you can see the tree is here. So then when I picked this up, my little raccoon was not damaged by the green tree, but the tree is behind him. And then I came in with my, well, that's Granny Apple. Then I came in with my Old Olive, and then I just kind of filled in, you know, this gap, or I didn't, but I'm going to make it look like the tree is really meant to be there. So it doesn't have that big white spot in there. So that's what that looks like. Like I said, I feel like I ruined it with putting the little snow falling on it. So whatever. It's sitting here. I may use it, I may not. But yeah, I just want to give you guys a couple other little, you know, things that you can use as well to go on that. It doesn't just have to be the moose. That paper, though, I do want to let you know that is from the Trimming the Town, which is the paper, the suite that I did the video on the other day. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope the volume was a wee bit better than that Facebook Live thing. I still do not understand why that did what it did, but it just wasn't meant for me to do Facebook Live. So I'm okay with that. But that being said, I still would like you guys to share my videos. I deleted the other one, so please don't share that one. I know it's gone, but that was horrid. I couldn't even handle that. So if you do not have the current catalog, the new mini, which is what I just showed you with the moose, please feel free to get in touch with me and we will get you one of those. If you would like the whole catalog with the annual catalog, which is the one that runs for the full year, this is the annual catalog. If you would like this, and the starters brochure, if you would please, anybody who spends $35 or more, I will immediately, off of your order, grab your address, and I will send you the whole package of the all three of these catalogs. And I normally throw in a little, you know, thank you card, but I do not write in the card. It is simply for a gift for you to then share with somebody else that you know. But if you just want the holiday catalog, that mini catalog, I can get you one of those ASAP. If you live far away from me, you just need to get in touch with me, send me your address, and I can get one out to you. If you live close to me, I can meet up with you, or however you want to do it. All right, guys, have a good one. Thanks for watching. Bye.